My name is Jason Neiffer. I'm the Assistant Director, Curriculum Director of the Montana Digital Academy, and I'm joining you today from the lovely University of Montana in Missoula, Montana, the headquarters of Montana Digital Academy. And today we're talking with Mr. Cleary, the lead teacher of music theory at Montana Digital Academy. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Jason. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad today.
So what we're going to be doing for the next couple minutes on this video is talking a little bit about our music theory course, and we're really excited. The music theory course is new for fall 2014, and we're hoping that this is going to really meet the needs of music students across the state of Montana that may not have access to a music theory course in their local district. So I've got a couple questions for Mr. Cleary today. We'll talk a little bit about the course and the requirements of the course, and then we'll talk about the kinds of access you'll need to meaningfully participate in this format with this course, and then we can go from there. So getting started, Kevin, why don't you introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about your teaching of music in Helena?
Well, as you said, I am in Helena, and my name is Kevin Cleary, and I've taught here at Sierra Anderson Middle School. This is now my 10th year, teaching 6th, 7th, and 8th grade orchestra, 7th grade choir, and a special 8th grade class called Music and Technology, where we just get to mess around with all sorts of different things. I went to school out in the Midwest in Minnesota, and got a teaching degree there. I wound up getting my teaching licensure through MSU Bozeman, through some different programs that I took there, and didn't actually get into teaching until a few years out of college, but was really happy to get back into music and be able to do that. And as Jason said, I'm very excited about this new class. Music theory is a particular passion of mine. I love looking at the inner workings of how music is put together, and so I'm really excited to be able to share this with everyone.
Excellent. Sounds great. So let's talk a little bit about the class then, and about maybe what students would need beforehand to be successful in this format. So let's first talk about what kind of background would a student need to be successful in a music theory class.
And that's an excellent place to head here, because when we developed this music theory course, our big goal was we had a music appreciation course going for a few years. It was very successful, and a lot of kids were really pleased with it, but we were finding that there was quite a mix of students. There were some students who had almost no musical experience, and many students who had so much musical experience they were bored with the music appreciation class. They were finding it too easy. So our goal was to create a more rigorous environment where serious music students could get into some more details regarding music. In terms of what's required as a background, my recommended prerequisites were at least 2 years in a performing ensemble, and I would strongly advise that that be a high school performing ensemble. 2 years in a middle school performance ensemble with a couple years of a gap might make it tough for people. Private lessons, private study is something that can certainly augment or be a replacement for ensemble study, but in some form or another, kids really need to know how to read music fairly well, at least one clef sign. They need to know how to sing or play an instrument already, and they need to have really good awareness of terminology. Within the first 2 weeks of the course, music students are going to be expected to be able to read music in almost every clef sign. They'll be expected to know all their key signatures, all their major scales, and all the minor scales attached to those major scales. And if they don't have a good background, they're going to find that to be a really challenging task. That's going to be tough. With this particular move, we're hoping that students who are excited about music and want to know that will be able to get a lot out of music theory, whereas music appreciation will be able to adjust its course a little bit to meet the needs of kids with fewer musical abilities or with more of an interest in just learning broader perspectives about history and modern music. That's our hope over time.
Excellent. So to make sure that I'm clear, that if your recommendation would be if a student has no background in music but's interested in getting a start in music, music appreciation would be the most appropriate course.
Excellent course.
Excellent. And then and if a student does have musical background and has that prerequisite of 2 years of ensemble work, or perhaps some experience with private lessons, then it would be appropriate for them to take then this music theory course.
It would be absolutely appropriate, yeah.
Okay, great. So tell me a little bit about the kinds of activities the students will have in the course throughout the semester.
Well, I tried to make the course as much of an introduction to activities that one would experience in an upper level music theory course. So I really modeled it off my experiences in college music theory and what I wish I would have gotten when I was in high school before I went on to college to take music theory. I tried to use that as a basis because my goal in mind was for serious music students who plan to study beyond their high school career. And so a lot of the activities, it's very heavily performance-based. We do a lot of reading. There's a lot of reading. Very self-directed in that end. Opportunities to get lots of questions from students, but students have to be responsible for that reading. And then there is a group of performance-based activities that students have to do to show that the reading can be applied to specific situations. Specifically, students will have to record videos of themselves engaging with technologies online. And towards the end of the course, they will have to record videos of themselves singing out loud, no matter how beautiful your voice is. Mine is not the most beautiful, but I had to do that too. They have to record videos of themselves singing rhythmic figures, and they're going to also have to record videos of themselves playing the piano, showing that they have basic piano proficiency skills, which will lead into a question that I believe we're going to discuss in a little bit about equipment. But in terms of activities, those are the biggest activities that we are working with is those performance-based activities. Several websites online that we will be using, free websites to allow kids to test themselves on theory concepts. There will be some discussion components incorporated into various units, and particularly in later units there will be collaborative and individual projects that apply various skills that are learned earlier in the course and more complicated skills that can't be tested using a simple point-and-click sort of format, more complicating compositional skills that will need to be tested in a variety of ways. There are also a couple small quizzes and tests, but by and large, I tried to construct this course as an experiential course with less of the traditional testing format and much more of the let's get in there and get our hands dirty and work together to make sure that we're all understanding what it is we're trying to do here.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's a great description. So speaking of, and you gave us an excellent segue into this, what kinds of equipment and instruments will students need to have access to be successful in this course?
I would say the most important piece of equipment right out of the gate is going to be the ability to record videos of the kind that we are doing right here. It is absolutely essential that students be able to record videos of their computer screen while they are working on various computer activities, and it has to be a full recording of what they do. It cannot simply be a picture of their ending score. It has to be a recording of the entire 5 to 10 minutes that they are spending demonstrating their skills. And this is just one of those practicalities of online learning because we don't have some of the resources you would have face-to-face. It's necessary for a teacher to be able to see the students actually working, see what things they're understanding and see what things they're not, and be able to give them appropriate feedback that way. And then, of course, with that's going to be the connection that's going to allow them to get those videos to their teacher, the computer that's going to be reliable enough to let them do that. The most intense units require up to 6 videos, I believe, in one unit, which is about a 2 to 2.5 week period. So those very intense units, there's a lot that will have to be recorded in there. And you have to make sure you've got functional video. When it comes to the performance, the singing, and the rhythm reading, and the piano proficiency, it's essential that students be able to record themselves actually doing what they're doing. I suggested in a lot of the courses, a lot of the course content suggested smartphones and other laptop devices as a way of being able to actually videotape your hands on a piano or yourself conducting as you work through an exercise. That's important. And of course, as I said, since piano proficiency is in there, a piano, a keyboard of some kind is absolutely essential when we get towards the ending course. It does not have to be a full 88-key Steinway Grand. It just needs to be a piano that can work. And electric pianos work quite well in many cases if that's all you have access to. They simply need to have, I believe the limitation I put on it was a 3-octave keyboard. You need to be able to actually play harmonies, so if you have a little toy keyboard that only plays one note at a time, that's not going to work. But there is some flexibility there, and because pianos are such a common part of churches and schools. In a lot of ways, I felt that that was a reasonable expectation. Two other small pieces of software access you have to make sure that you can have. You must be able to access a website called noteflight.com, which is an online free notation service. That one's pretty easy to get into because you just have to sign up for a free account. You also must have access to Spotify. That one has caused problems in the past because from time to time Spotify has required a Facebook account to log in, and some schools have limitations. But you cannot complete some of the final work in the course if you do not have access to Spotify. So it's important to make sure that that's available to you at home or at school some way.
And Spotify is available for free for the usage of this course, right? Excellent. Right. And I should also note that all these details are in the course description, so that if students need a list or site facilitators need a list of what's required to be successful in the program, that will appear in the course description. And then, of course, we are asking students to do some, relatively advanced technical pieces to be able to open up a line of communication between themselves and the teacher in the course. And our help staff is always available to assist students that maybe can't quite get the technical part down right away, but we can help them develop skills to be successful inside this environment.
And that reminds me of one other thing I did want to make sure and note. This is a very rigorous course. I toned down my desire to put more in it, but it is still asking students to do a tremendous amount of work because I want them to get as accurate a feel for one semester of music theory, whether it were to be a high school course or a college level course. I want them to get a feel for the expectations that are put on them. So aside from the things I've mentioned earlier, this is just a good chance to remind students, realize that this is not lightweight, let's just kind of talk about music. It's all the nuts and bolts, and we dig into it all very, very quickly.
Right. So definitely a student with significant interest in music would find this to be the most palatable environment for their desire. Great, excellent.
But I do believe that even students who are not planning to study music in college could get a lot out of this course if they just really love music.
Sure. Okay, excellent. And then last, is there anything else you think students need to know before signing up?
Actually, I think that miscellaneous right there, that covered it, the reminder that this is rigorous. As I said, I am passionate about music theory. I love the subject. I'm really excited to be teaching this, and I'm really excited about many of the activities we're going to be able to do, both the performance-based activities and the collaborative compositions, individual compositions that students will get to explore. These are some of my greatest memories of studying music, so I really hope that students will get excited and consider this course seriously as they look at their options for the year. I think that covers me.
Okay, excellent. Mr. Cleary, thank you for your time today, and I'm sure that students signing up will look forward to working with you in the upcoming semester. And this is Montana Digital Academy's Music Theory course description video. My name is Jason Neiffer. I'm the Assistant Director. If you want more information about Montana Digital Academy, you can go to our website, www.montanadigitalacademy.org, or if you're an existing student and need help, you can email our support desk, support@montanadigitalacademy.org. Have a great day.